Let's finish this like we started it, Lexi, with a double episode review of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right, we're finishing up our review of the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi for our YouTube channel with a double shot. Episodes 5 and 6 are in the books, and we're going to talk about them.
Yep.
Alright, now at the time of recording this, we have seen both episodes, so it'll be a little bit differently than how we've been doing it, because of course, some of our views on episode 5 will be tinted by the events of episode 6, and some of our questions that we had may have been answered, but we're still going to take a look at 5, and then transition into 6, and then give an overall view of the series.
Yeah.
Alright, so starting with episode 5, I think this episode did a hell of a job in diminishing the character of Reva. I mean, she could have been a really cool character, but they didn't do a good job introducing the character, and then they took her motivations and made them all over the place. First, she really wants to hunt down Obi-Wan, but then, she's working to subvert Anakin, she really wants to take him out, but she still doesn't like Obi-Wan, and then she allows herself to be used by Obi-Wan, and she gets punked out by Anakin, and then at the end of episode 5, it's like, now she's going after Luke, I guess to get revenge on Obi-Wan, because I'm sure she doesn't realize Luke is Anakin's son. And I don't know, I joked about the subtle racism within the Inquisitors early on in the series. This episode left me feeling like there might be some subtle racism in the writing room for the way they treated the character of Reva. That's certainly how I felt at the end of episode 5, anyway.
Yes,
and I mean, it's like she was here at this point only so Obi-Wan could use her to foment his escape.
Yeah.
Which makes him look like a real dick, or I don't know, maybe he's supposed to be clever for doing that.
Hashtag gaslight gate, keep gold boss.
What?
I said gaslight gate, keep gold boss. Obi-Wan.
Oh, God.
And also, man, apparently in the Star Wars universe, getting stabbed by a lightsaber isn't a death sentence, so what the hell was Qui-Gon's problem?
I think it just depends on what it hits, maybe.
I mean, he got taken out by Maul with just one little shoot through the belly, but we've seen Reva and the High Inquisitor now. I mean, clearly Reva... Well, we know now Reva survived, and clearly it looked like she was going to survive at the end of episode 5.
Yeah. So
not only did they diminish Reva, they diminished Qui-Gon in the process.
And she didn't have any immediate medical attention, I think.
That's also true.
Well, there was no evidence that the Inquisitor did, and Qui-Gon certainly didn't.
I know, but it's like, the Inquisitor at least could have potentially... That was no one left even on that planet. Really? Nobody?
Like I said, I guess it just depends on what it hits.
Because like, oh no. Honestly, lightsabers have been way less deadly ever since episode 7 even.
Yeah.
So this episode kicked off with the now traditional for this series warning that there may be some scenes that viewers may find disturbing. I also thought they should put a warning at the beginning. There may be some scenes that viewers will find insulting. But I guess the Obi-Wan Anakin shippers were digging this episode.
Oh, God.
We started that little playful scene with them back during their training days.
Mm-hmm.
With clearly not teenaged Hayden Christensen. This episode was also, for me, the first time that I really bought into the whole PUNKY LEIA characterization. Although I think instead of starting out as this, spunky rebel, this adventure should have brought that out in her. So this could have been the point where she really came into her own.
Yeah.
Really, I think they sort of switched the arcs for Obi-Wan and Leia. We should have gotten Obi-Wan fully formed and Leia should have come into her own instead of getting Leia fully formed and Obi-Wan having to come back into his own.
That would have probably been pretty good.
I mean, we did finally start to get some more of the boss Obi-Wan in this that I was looking for in this series. But again, it shouldn't have taken 5 episodes to get us here.
This took most of the series.
Somebody get this kid a ladder.
I thought it was funny when I can't remember the rebel leader's name. The one who had the quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
They killed my wife. I'm helping you. That guy. Obi-Wan was asking him, how long will it take you to get this back online? He's like, 4 hours. Like, well, you've got 1. And it would have been, well, we're fucked then. Sorry, I can't do it in less than 4. I told you what it would take, man. You're expecting a miracle. You got the Force. Why don't you do something? And also, at one point, I think it was Obi-Wan who was... Yeah, I know, really, right? After seeing what Anakin did, Obi-Wan should have been able to pull something like that off.
Open up the doors.
And now that I mention it, let's say it too. Anakin dragging the Star Cruiser back with the Force.
Yeah.
Totally in canon. I've read that in plenty of the extended universe books. And then he ripped it open. And then, of course, they flew off in the decoy. I guess, well, that wouldn't have been the decoy. The big one would have been the decoy. And they flew off in the real escape ship.
It feels like he should have had plenty of time to grab that one, too.
Maybe it was moving faster.
Maybe just shock.
That's
He was
kind of
like,
what I'm thinking.
Fuck.
Does Darth Vader really get shocked?
But also, I know they played up that Anakin, that Obi-Wan really knew what Anakin's moves were going to be. But did he really expect him to drag the big ship down and give him time to escape from the whole ship? That just seems a little sus to me.
Maybe it was just a random thought he had, and he's like, you know what? It's our best shot. Let's try it.
But also, that scene was cool. I like seeing, even though Anakin's force powers are supposed to be somewhat diminished since his, not accident, but since Obi-Wan cut him down and he's now more machine than man.
Since his little oopsie.
I still totally buy that he could do that. So it was a cool scene in and of itself, or the thought of the scene was cool. But I just thought it looked really bad. The way it was shot, or the effects, the combination of the two, it looked really janky to me.
At least when he was tearing it open, it looked low.
That looked better than the initial drag down, but the whole thing overall, I didn't think it looked very well at all. It looked very good. What were you going to say, Dill?
Honestly, I thought that the drag down looked better than when he was tearing it apart.
Yeah, maybe. It's been a week or so now since I saw it. I thought it was funny, too, talking about Obi-Wan, playing like he knows Anakin so well and what he's going to do. And, of course, they were cutting back to that training sequence to sort of illustrate that point. And everyone's like, he'll expect me to surrender. So I'll surrender. I'll do exactly what he expects. And I know there was more to it than that, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the best strategy is doing exactly what they expect.
They won't expect you to do what they expect, so then it'll be unexpected.
It's mind games.
Yeah, I mentioned that warning at the beginning. Some scenes may be disturbing for some viewers, and I will say after seeing this episode, really, really unfortunate timing for them to revisit Anakin's slaughter at the temple.
Yeah.
Some of those scenes just hit way too close to home, and if I'm feeling that, I'm sure other people would feel it even more so.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming them for doing the scenes, or maybe they should have cut them out, maybe they shouldn't, maybe it shouldn't exist at all. I don't know, but it was a bad time for that.
Yeah.
All right. So any more thoughts on episode 5?
No.
Of course, it left us with Obi-Wan and the rebels escaping, and Reva seemingly going after Luke for some strange reason.
Yeah.
After what's his name? What's the fake Jedi's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
The actor's Kumail, right?
I don't remember.
I'm screwing up names horribly in this episode, but after he dropped the little transmitter that had Bail Organa's message to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I thought the fight between Darth and Reva was kind of cool.
It was alright, but Anakin just owned her.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Obi-Wan's like, he'll never see you coming, he'll only see me, and then he saw her coming, so again, it makes Obi-Wan look like he just really played Reva.
You see, this series was to make Darth Vader look like a badass.
And, well, we got that a little bit in Rogue One, and I mean, you sort of got that malevolent edge in the Star Wars trilogy originally, and I mean, like, Han points the blaster and he just zaps it away, and he handles Luke fine, but I mean, it's nice to see more of these characters being who they are and should be. I don't remember where I was going with that. You were saying to make him look up, and that's fine, but I mean, then why even have Reva go against him just to make her look like a punk? Because again, you have this potentially really cool character, and then you're just going to waste them and take every step you can to just diminish them and make them meaningless.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll transition from there into the finale.
The finale.
We didn't go back and look, but I thought in the opening scene where they flashed the different Star Wars character images, I swear there was a droid with mouse ears. It looked like maybe BB-8 had Mickey Mouse ears on him.
I do not know.
We should have probably gone back and looked at it, but a little Easter egg. Go back and look at it. Did it? Did he have it?
I said I meant to.
You said Reva's made her way to Tatooine now, and shouldn't the Inquisitors be hunting her there now? Because she's a Force user, they should be able to sense her. They went there for other Force users.
Well, I guess they don't know that she's there.
They knew the other Jedi was there. Not Obi-Wan, but
maybe they got tipped off.
I don't know.
It's like, hey, I heard that there might be a Jedi going to Tatooine.
But anyway, when last we left in the penultimate episode, like I said, the rebels had escaped, but the Darth and the Empire right on their tails, almost echoing the beginning of episode 4. And Obi-Wan's talking to Leia, and he's like, it's okay to be scared, I'm scared too. And Leia gives him this like, fuck, you're scared too? Great.
It's like, well, we're all screwed now.
But of course, as it turned out, she was just getting upset because she realized he was going to leave her and...
Yeah.
Leave her, that sounds weird, but go confront Darth.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Obi-Wan is going to just trust the guy who inadvertently betrayed him and Luke to Reva by dropping the communicator.
Yeah.
Thought that was a little strange. And then Reva ends up on Tatooine, and she's coming after Luke, and by extension, Owen and Beru. And I don't buy the militant Beru when she's all like giving orders, and we need to take up positions, and you know, she's going to come at dawn. We need to make sure we have our defense position set up and stuff. And the attitude of defending her homestead, that's fine, but it's like, when she become this military tactician?
I mean,
I have no idea. I don't know the character very well.
We didn't see that much of her character.
I was going to say...
No, but from what I've seen, I don't think she comes from a long line of soldiers or anything.
Is there any Star Wars book, whether canon or not, where we see more of her backstory?
None that I know, other than the little tiny bit we see her in the prequels.
It was hardcore.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't have a problem with the attitude. It's just, it seems like they made her like this real competent military strategist, and it's like, where does that come from?
She picked up on something somewhere.
At the same time, too, it's like, I don't think, even an injured Reva, if she's that strong a Force user, and they tried to make her out to be until she got punked out by Anakin, but then again, Anakin is, in canon, the strongest Jedi of all time before his son comes of age, so, okay. But, regardless, she shouldn't have been handled so easily. And I mean, I know she eventually overpowered them and was able to go after Luke, but I mean, Beru and Owen put up too much of a fight against her for my taste.
I mean, honestly, who even cared about the other fight? That was the most epic fight of this episode.
There was too much. Maybe they could have gotten by on strategy again, but I don't know. They were way too equal to her for my taste. For if she's going to be this strong, and I know she's injured, and I know she's blinded by revenge or whatever, but still.
I feel like Disney just wanted to give them a bit of like an unexpected personality.
I know she'll have an Owen and Beru series.
Oh God!
It's like a sitcom.
I like the actors. I like the actors who play them in this. It'd be cool to see more of them.
I mean, honestly, what do you even do when you're farming water? Like, what else do you even do in the middle of a desert?
I feel like you just essentially manage the farm. Like, you just live your life and
look, a farmer's life is, a lot of work, so.
Yeah.
But it's water farming.
You gotta keep the vaporators up, and you gotta keep the Tuscans off your property.
If it wasn't a lot of work, would he be getting more droids to help out?
And would he be so worried about Luke going off to the academy?
Exactly.
You gotta stay for another season. This is when I need you the most.
There's a lot going on my farm.
I don't know.
Anyway, getting off them for a minute, I do wonder why they had Darth take a lambda shuttle down to the planet to meet Obi-Wan instead of his iconic TIE fighter from the first movie. Because, Darth had his own sort of unique TIE fighter.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see. And I know they used the lambda shuttles, and I'm sure he probably, rode in one multiple times in the canon. It just would have been cool to see his TIE fighter come back.
Maybe they couldn't get... I don't know. Maybe they didn't have...
I feel like Disney could do anything.
I'm not questioning in the canon why he took the lambda instead of the... TIE fighter. I'm questioning why the writers, producers, directors, etc. chose that shuttle instead of using the TIE fighter. I just think that would have been... they have all this fan service and they want to have neat little callbacks and stuff. Why not bring that back?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we ever saw it again after episode 4.
I do know.
We never really see Darth in his TIE fighter again. Speaking of Darth, it was nice to get a badass lightsaber fight with Darth Vader. That might be the best lightsaber fight Darth Vader's been in. And more than a lightsaber fight, but the duel between he and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I specifically mean Darth Vader in the full suit. I know Anakin was technically Darth Vader by the time they had their duel in episode 3, but we haven't seen a lot from, full suited Darth Vader with a lightsaber.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have that many good fights.
The one with Luke is good in episode 5, and then the one with Obi-Wan is fine in episode 4, but it's not the sort of epic lightsaber fight we've become accustomed to.
Yeah.
And of course he's awesome in Rogue One, but he's not, he uses lightsaber somewhat, but it's not against another Force user, it's just against the rebel soldiers.
But most of the time it's either him pretty much destroying his opponent in episode 6 when he gets destroyed by Luke.
Yeah. They don't really have that much of a lightsaber fight in episode 6, really.
Not that much.
No, not really. But after that battle, I guess we know that Obi-Wan is tougher than 838 Captain Marvel. He got a lot of shit piling him and didn't go out. And of course, I'm referring to Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen that, probably don't see it, really. I don't know if it's worth it. Anyway, moving on. But again, like we talked about with Leia and Obi-Wan, the fact that she seems to not refer back to this at all, like it had no bearing on her, future existence. You would think some of this experience with Luke would have told on him by the time we meet him in episode 4.
Probably.
Being, chased through, having to run from his house and be chased through the desert by this mad Force user, Inquisitor, or Huntress, or whatever he thinks of her as. I mean...
Yeah.
You still think some of that would still be there. I guess maybe he just blocks it out or whatever. But
so now it's Tuesday for Luke.
But I don't think it is. And I mean, I know that they, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru told him it was the Tusken Raiders coming to the farm, so maybe he thought that's what it was. And I guess that is somewhat a part of everyday life on Tatooine. So
I mean, at first,
maybe that's where Beru got all.
But then when he was like getting chased,
but then
and
yeah,
all
that's right.
that,
Because I don't know how much he was paying attention. I don't know how much she revealed. And I mean, he's trying to sneak away through the mountains.
Maybe over time, his brain just like kind of made him think it was Tusken Raider related.
Beru is the ultimate Tusken Raider hunter.
Going back to the Obi-Wan Vader duel, I realized it couldn't end this way because of the story that's already been told, but Ben was in a position to finish it with Anakin.
Yeah.
He could have easily cut his fucking head off when Anakin was bent over and wheezing, and he chose not to, and you can argue, oh, well, he just felt bad for his friend or this or that, but I mean, that just looks stupid. He even said this is going to end one way or another today, and then he chose not to end it with no real good reason.
Yeah.
And my point is, again, I know he couldn't finish him or it would screw up episode 4 and everything came out. But then again, as a writer, why put him in that position? Why put him in a position where he could have finished it, only to have him not do it for no good reason?
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Can we acknowledge Earthbender Obi-Wan? When he was using the first two.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass.
I mean, yeah, it was badass.
I mean, this was the most badass Obi-Wan we've seen in the series, including the original duel with Darth on Mustafar in episode 3.
I'm just saying, if there was a power box on the Death Star, Obi-Wan was going to get... Not Obi-Wan. Darth Vader was going to get destroyed.
Well, except for the fact that, I mean, Obi-Wan, he didn't, mean to win that fight. He was ready to go and move on.
Obi-Wan really does not want to defeat Darth Vader for some reason.
Because that was his friend. That was Anakin.
But it's like... Bro... He's like the number 1 most evil guy in the galaxy. Maybe number 2 most evil guy in the galaxy. Probably number 2.
Yeah.
Wait, do what?
I said Darth Vader's probably like the 2nd most evil guy in the galaxy.
Yeah, definitely behind Palpatine at least. Although in the Legends canon, there's a whole planet full of Sith.
And Darth Vader.
And Abeloth is around, so I mean...
I don't know anything about Abeloth.
We'll read the Fate of the Jedi series. Really good. Kind of wild and out there, but... Do what?
I'm still trying to get through the Obi-Wan book.
Yeah. Legacy of the Force is a better series anyway. At the end, we see Darth sitting on his throne, or near the end anyway. And we see Darth sitting on his throne and chatting with his boy Palpy. And he's like, I'm going to bring the full might of the Empire down. We're going to find Obi-Wan and crush him. And Palpatine's like, yeah, I don't know, that's such a good idea. And Darth's like, alright, no problem, I'm done.
Yeah,
it's like, there's a really quick turnaround. That's what this series specializes in, is really quick turnarounds by people.
Why don't the change so quick?
I feel like mentally he didn't change that quickly, but just like what you can see, he did change that quickly, because he's trying to please Palpatine.
No, I get it. It's just really funny, especially like I say, in light of the Rebel guy who had such a quick turnaround and Reva turning so much, and now Darth's like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Of course, we get Ben traveling to Alderaan to return. What, Lola? Is that the droid's name?
I think so.
To Leia, and of course we get to see Leia with her empty holster and her combat boots, princess aesthetic.
Yeah.
The same aesthetic she continues to have for the rest of her life.
I just don't... I mean, you saw the affection between her and Obi-Wan, and this whole adventure... She's not going to forget about it.
She's going to see him again.
So again, and I know they try to play like, but we have to pretend that we don't know each other, and we have to... But I mean, by the time she sends the message in episode 4, that's completely irrelevant. For one thing, they're at a dire point that it doesn't matter. Plus, she's saying his name in the transmission, so it's not like she has to pretend she doesn't know him, just... in case the transmission's intercepted.
Yeah.
The whole point is just to not reveal his existence. Once you've said his name, you've revealed his continued existence and the fact that you might have an idea where he is, so that's irrelevant. So I still don't buy, because, I mean, she never really acknowledges in episode 4 that she knows him. She's like, Obi-Wan, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Like, she has to explain who she is. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And never mind the fact that we all know Obi-Wan would know who she is anyway, but, I mean, she wouldn't necessarily know that, except for the events of this series now. I wonder, did Bail have her memory wiped like he did to C-3PO at the end of episode 3? I mean, that's like the only explanation. I did think it was kind of cool when Bail Organa was like, Obi-Wan's like, if you need me, you know where I am. And he was like, if I do, I'll call on you. And that's sort of a reference to episode 4. It's pretty cool.
Did we mention what happened at the end of the Tatooine section?
No, go ahead.
Episode?
What? Yeah, you want
the end of the Reva's plot stuff. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna kill Luke.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, because she saw herself in him as the young Padawan being assaulted by the evil Sith Lord Anakin.
And then I guess she just leaves.
And that's fine, and she brought him back, and it was an okay resolution for her character.
Yeah.
It did better for her than anything else in the series had, but, you know, like I said, all the back and forth with her, it's like a wrestler who has all these different heel-to-face turns that just don't buy it, and like I said, I don't think she was ever well-established to begin with. Actually, like I say, her scene with Obi-Wan, her breakdown and everything at the end of this was the best bit of the character we saw, and does give me some hope that maybe if there's another season of Obi-Wan, or maybe they could do a Reva spinoff series or something, they can still do some cool stuff with the character.
Yeah.
So perhaps news of her demise in episode 5 was greatly exaggerated, so they did manage to bring the character back a little bit, but again, they should have never put him in that position to begin with. They should have done a better job maintaining the character throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was glad that Luke was passed out or whatever, so he didn't get a chance to see. I mean, Obi-Wan didn't ever have to break out his lightsaber, but I was sitting there like, man, if he sees Obi-Wan fighting with a lightsaber, I'm done. Because we know he knows Ben in episode 4, but he doesn't really know that he was a Jedi or really anything about lightsabers or anything.
Yeah.
So they did preserve that at least.
And then,
they got some things right.
Yeah, but still, I feel like the Reva arc is just really unnatural and forced. No pun intended.
And then another thing I want to mention after the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight, how Darth Vader was like, you didn't kill Anakin, I killed him. Kind of referencing episode 4. It was like, oh, Darth Vader, he killed your father.
Yeah, and it almost feels like they feel the need to justify that line. But obviously Obi-Wan was just lying to Luke.
Yeah.
He didn't want it.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like it was time for Luke to know the whole truth. So they didn't. That was not. It's nice enough, but it's not
cute,
necessary
but not
either.
necessary.
And it almost feels insulting to the point that like, well, we have to somehow justify that line that Obi-Wan said, because why else would he say that? I mean, it's obvious why he said it. It always has been. He was protecting Luke.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool enough, and I mean, if you don't view it through that lens, it's a pretty damn cool line. And Hayden Christensen's performance was really good. But at the same time, I don't know that we needed all this between Darth and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I mean, Obi-Wan needed some kind of an antagonist, I guess. Not necessarily though, because you could show him. I don't feel like the Sith are shown to be real badasses when they're abusing the locals, as I keep saying.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Jedi, of course, you're going to stand up for quote-unquote ordinary people. So you could make Obi-Wan look like a badass with lesser opponents, so to speak.
Honestly, this was a focus on Reva more.
But I don't even know that Reva would have been good as the big antagonist for Obi-Wan to have. Because, I mean, and clearly they wanted to establish, even though it took them 6 episodes to do it, Obi-Wan is this really great, powerful Jedi that's been talked about before in the series. So he would need somebody like Anakin to have a real epic duel with. But there are other ways to do that. I think you can do it with the hero better than you can do it with the villain. Yeah. Because then a villain just ends up looking like a bully. And I mean, that's not necessarily tough. But at the same time, I don't mind Darth Vader being in the series. Maybe we can see what's going on with him at the same time as what's going on with Obi-Wan. Sort of like how Book of Boba Fett didn't just focus solely on Boba Fett.
It's essentially the Mandalorian season 2.5.
But I think Obi-Wan and Anakin having these meetups do more harm than good to the overall canon, because in episode 4 it really always felt like it had been a long time since they saw each other.
Yeah.
And I know you can argue it's still 9 years, but that means there's less time between these meetings and the meeting in episode 4 than there is between the duel in episode 3 and these meetings.
Yeah.
So, and we got some cool stuff, but like I said, I think overall I could have done without it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the odd thing the one thing that I think was odd. When Obi-Wan left, he just called him Darth. It's like, why call him Darth and not Vader? Like, by Darth.
Because it's more personal, using his first name.
I know, but it's like, everyone's a Darth.
And more biting. Everyone's not a Darth. I know a lot of Sith are,
a Darth.
but that means
Only
everyone's
he's a
known
Vader.
too. I mean... Yeah, but that also feels more like a term of respect. I know it's not, you wouldn't, you call him like Sir Vader or something, or Lord Vader, if you're really respecting them, but I mean, I don't know, it feels more biting for him to call him that.
I don't know. I just found it odd.
Are we going to address the thing, though? I mean, I totally called the ending. I said several episodes ago, Qui-Gon's going to show up like right at the end, and then boom, we're done. And that's what we got. I mean, it was more than just his voice calling to Obi-Wan. We actually got full-on Liam Neeson.
It's like, the longer the series went on without him, the more... It was like, wow, we're going to get 2 seconds of him.
And,
it's like, why is he even there?
Yeah. It still seems very odd to me that it took 10 years for Obi-Wan to commune with him when Yoda was like, our friend has returned from the other side. Qui-Gon, he should have been talking to him all along, but
yeah, should have been like a buddy cop movie.
I mean, look, I understand maybe they couldn't get Liam Neeson to do 6 full episodes of it, but I mean, they could have spent a day shooting a few scenes or whatever. And this is when Obi-Wan's packed up his cave and said goodbye to Luke and the Larses. He's like, I'm gonna give him some space. I mean, I assume he's not leaving Tatooine.
Yeah.
He could always leave and come back, but Qui-Gon's like, we've got a ways to go. And so, I mean, I guess he's going on a quest like Boba Fett. He's going to get him a Gaddafi stick and have a lizard shoot up his nose or something.
Oh,
God. But, of course, that follows Obi-Wan's official meeting of Luke.
Yeah.
And the resolution where he's like, I'm going to leave him alone for now. But he does get to give him the shuttle model that we see Luke playing with in episode 4. And I'm fine with him, officially meeting Luke, because, I mean, we know Luke knew of Ben.
Yeah, I was going to say...
If Luke saw too much, it wouldn't make sense for him to have met him. I mean, you meet a lot of people when you're a kid, and you kind of know them, but it's not like they're bosom buddies or anything, so...
Yeah, I was going
that works totally fine with episode 4.
The ending with Qui-Gon and whatnot kind of makes me feel like, he's going to go do some stuff off of Tatooine and whatnot, but I would expect him to not, I mean, obviously come back, but to come back relatively soon.
Yeah, well,
because I feel like Luke knew him more than just that one meeting.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, he still needs to be nearby so he can protect Luke if necessary. He just doesn't necessarily need to be in his everyday life. I think he's just going someplace else on the planet.
Yeah, it's very possible. It is a big planet.
I can't remember. I think he lives out in the Jundland Wastes, and I don't know how far that is from where Luke and his family live. So I assume he's just, going into the desert. He's going on a vision quest or whatever.
Honestly, I think we need to see more Star Wars series where people to interact with Force Ghosts more. It's like, you barely see them interact with the Force Ghosts. Even after Obi-Wan died.
You said you just want, season 2 to be him and Qui-Gon as buddy cops. Before this podcast.
Even after episode 4, Obi-Wan, talked to Luke, once. Is it, never again?
Season 2 is going to be, it's going to be like Kung Fu. Obi-Wan's just going to be wandering the Tatooine, interacting with people and then moving on. Kung Fu was a series.
Yeah.
And David Carradine, the guy who played Bill in Kill Bill, he was Kane, and he just kind of wandered the earth, and he got into... I didn't watch the series, so forgive me. My parents were really into the sequel series, Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, but as far as I know, that was the plot of the original series. He was just sort of a wanderer, he'd wander into town, get into adventures, and then move on.
Nice.
So I could see that being season 2 of Obi-Wan easily.
It feels like they kind of set it up to give us season 2 as what we wanted/expected.
I mean, I assume and again, we didn't need all this other stuff to lead up to this. We had everything leading up to this to begin with, and I never expected Obi-Wan not to be affected by Anakin's betrayal and the duel and everything, but not in this way. It felt forced. It felt like, we've got to take him down a notch so we can build him back up. No, let's just go from where we were. We already have a fully formed character here. We don't need all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's just take it from there, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. And we're talking about a season 2 like we know they're getting one. I've heard rumors of it, but I don't think anything's been confirmed.
No, it just feels like they set it up if they want to.
We just need more Qui-Gon if we're getting season 2, Perhaps we never see Force Ghosts.
You and Force Ghosts.
I'm sorry, they're a cool concept. It's a way for a dead character to still interact with their new characters without being like another person to beat up on the bad guys.
I mean, to be fair, we saw a fair amount of Force Ghost Ben in episode 5 and 6.
Is he not? Is he in episode 5?
He tells Luke to go to Dagobah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't.
Don't we see him interact with? Yeah, we see him interact with either Luke or Yoda or both of them.
Yeah.
I haven't watched 5 and 6 for a while, but he's definitely in them.
But doesn't he only appear in 6 at the end?
I don't know. Doesn't he talk? I know there's a scene where he and Yoda talk, and they talk about Leia, but they don't mention her by name. But they talk about there being another.
Ah.
I think that's episode 6, but I think there's some interaction in episode 5 as well. I'd have to go back and watch them. It's been a little while since I've seen them.
Yeah.
And we didn't just do a full-on audio play version of them like we do with episode 4. Check that out on anchor.fm/LexiCon podcast and here on YouTube, Mario Wars.
I just want an entire series that's a Padawan and the Force Ghost Master.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan's beyond being a Padawan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're beyond being finished with this for now. You guys want to give the series an overall?
6.5.
I mean, maybe about a 5 or 6-ish.
It's 5.5.
Yeah, I guess. It's cute, but there were flaws, and it didn't feel all that necessary.
Obi-Wan is so kawaii.
No, I did not mean the kawaii form of cute.
I'd give it the Disney trilogy out of 10.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's nice to get more Star Wars. It's cool to see some of the characters we love. There were some cool moments, but it was very derivative, and in my mind, not all that well written or directed. And in the end, I think we would have all been better off without it.
Alright.
Alright, so that concludes our breakdown of episodes 5 and 6, as well as the series overall of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Make sure you come back next time when the conversation continues. Until then, I am will continue to be Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And this is LexiCon concluded.
Bye.
Bye.